We all know that the payment industry is a really big worldwide business. It processes over 220 billion transactions a year, and it's still growing at 10 to 15% per year. The business is worth over $135 billion in interchange fees to card issuers like yourselves. But, as I'm sure you know, it's also an extremely complex business to be in, with rules and regulations issued and updated from a plethora of organisations in a variety of formats and publications, coming from the card networks, industry bodies such as PCI, governmental and financial authorities across the globe are all contributing to a sea of regulatory complexity that's impossible for one person to keep up with and understand. And then, as a bank, you'll have your own processes and rules to add to the confusion. Look at what a simple example of what this means in practice. Let's say I've enjoyed a week's vacation in Istanbul, and there I was brave enough to hire a car. When I return home, I'm notified by my credit card company that the rental agency has charged my card, just as I would have expected. But then, a couple of months later, I receive a notification of another charge on my card by that same rental company, this time for a speeding ticket. I need to find out whether that's allowed before I protest, but how do I do that? The bank's terms and conditions, despite being a very long and difficult read, are not specific enough for this incident. Similarly, although they're easy to read, the FAQs on the bank's website don't cover this particular question. Trying a search engine doesn't help either. Even if amongst the many results I get, having entered my question, I find the odd discussion about a similar topic, they all seem to be opinions rather than an identifiable regulation that I can go to with my bank and then make a query. That means I need to try and talk to a real human being at the bank customer services. Unfortunately, this will probably entail an interminable wait in the call centre phone queue, listening to bland music and being constantly told my call is important, followed by the need for a lengthy discussion plus a wait while the operative researches my problem themselves. It's no wonder then for small transactions that make a sort of sense, and in this case it does, I probably was speeding, cardholders just don't bother to pursue the issue. And even if it is pursued, the experience of inquiring and progressing any incident is painful, so you lose customer satisfaction, and your costs are increased through the management of the incident within your call centre operation. The problem here is that you cannot expect either the cardholder or the call centre operative to be an expert in all the latest rules and regulations that may apply to any transaction, especially when the card is being used internationally. But that's not all. There are changes happening in the industry that directly impact your revenue generation. Across the world, there are governmental moves to drive down interchange fees. For example, in the US, the Durbin Amendment, a last-minute addition to the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act in 2010, took nearly $10 billion per year of interchange fees out of the debit card business. Similarly, in Europe, the recently passed cap in interchange fees approved by the European Union aims to cut interchange fees by €6 billion a year. Other governments have already made such moves, such as in Australia in 2003, or many are about to. However, a move that has the potential to be either a benefit if exploited or a risk is that both Visa and MasterCard are introducing the automated collection of dispute resolution fees, for example from the acquirer to the issuer in a chargeback situation. This will happen automatically without any action by either side, with about $15 being transferred for each incident. For issuers, this means that by increasing the ease with which your customers can claim valid chargebacks, you could potentially generate income. So, what if there was an online service you could provide to your cardholder customers that would enable them to ask questions in a free text natural language style, and from that understand whether they can request a chargeback, and then send off that request, all without calling your customer services helpline? Well, now there is. 50Wise is introducing the eVision Cardholder Companion service. eVision has been built using the latest IBM Watson cognitive technology. Unlike traditional computer systems, Watson is not programmed, but trained in a particular discipline by experts in that field. Its great strengths include the ability to understand all the nuances of natural language and respond to unprogrammed questions with answers generated from the vast libraries of relevant, unstructured text-based information it has ingested. And using this training, it's been given by the experts. It also continues to learn over time, so becoming more and more valuable as time goes by. At 50Wise, we have fed the eVision service with over 31,000 pages of documents covering the world of payments and the rules and regulations from various relevant bodies. We've trained Watson to understand the rather specific language of payments and have imparted the combined experience of over 100 years working in the payments industry that we have here in 50Wise. As well as the generally applicable regulations, eVision can be educated in your own specific bank processes and rules to ensure that answers it provides to your cardholders are in line with your policies. We've also provided an easy-to-implement API, which means that you can integrate eVision into your own banking applications. So, within the normal way you engage with your customers online, you can deliver a complete service that includes the ability to query and register a dispute. So let's see, take a look at what happened in would have happened in my car speeding fine transaction from Istanbul if my bank had provided the eVision cardholder companion service. I would be accessing my card statement and notice the transaction, so I decide to query its validity by clicking on the inquiry button. I'm then given the opportunity to write a natural language question, including whatever level of complexity I want to. Indeed, eVision actually loves more detail. In many cases, it's the more complex the question, the better the answer situation. eVision then returns the answer, and having read it, I decide to request a refund because the car company didn't comply with all the requirements that allow it to charge me for that ticket. eVision has provided the source of the answer so that by simply clicking on the Include Documents button, I can send the details to my bank and they can easily agree to process the chargeback. So the bank has kept me happy as a customer and can process the chargeback without incurring call centre costs, while getting the dispute resolution fee that it should do. In summary then, what could eVision mean for you? Well, by providing easy access to a service that answers their questions and helps to resolve charging issues, you can increase the value of your service to your customers. This is becoming more and more important as innovative new competitors are entering the payments market with offerings that put a big focus on customer service. You do need to protect yourself. This online service will also reduce your costs. The Tower Group estimate that in retail banking, each live operator engagement in a call centre costs $3.75, whereas an automated service cuts this down to just 26 cents. Assuming a very low incidence of disputes, say just about 1%, you stand to save about $2.5 million per year for every 1 million cards you manage. And on top of that, assuming a dispute resolution charge of $15 from the networks, you'll gain another $10.5 million for each 1 million cards. That's a total of $13 million improvement in your profitability for every 1 million cardholder customers. Are you interested in that? If you are interested, my name's Mark Kusinovich, and I would love to talk to you about it, so please get in touch. Thank you for watching this presentation.